packing for a trip to Tanzania. We're going to have 10 days on the ground safari and 6 days on the mountain doing Kilimanjaro. And I thought I would just share some of what we've put together to be as self-sufficient as possible. And on our trip, we're not going on a safari with a group. We're renting two fully self-sustaining Land Rover Defenders out of Arusha with rooftop tents, full kitchen setup. Hey, this is the kind of trip we want to do. Now that said, we're going to just walk through really basically here some of the stuff that we've done. I thought it might be helpful to you, and you're going to think of things that I haven't thought of. Hopefully you'll think of them before you go, and you'll be good to go. That was every single day of our trip, broken down, all of our hotel bookings, the receipts for our campgrounds, our goals for the day, and then where I had spare space, I just went ahead and even added some imagery, but you can see there's maps, imagery for the day, what our goals are, where we're staying that night.
That one was something that was given to us by the guide service. We built our own daily itinerary book with emergency contact, medical histories of everybody on the trip.
We have 2 nights on our trip where we'll be staying in the same campground. One night we'll be staying at a tented campsite where it is a kind of a glamping site, and then everything else will be on our own, other than the night of the hotel we arrive, and the night in the hotel before we take off, and then one night in the lodge before we go out to do Kilimanjaro. So here are copies of passports, copies of driver's licenses, copies of everything. Here's the originals and our dailies. We'll go right past that. We went ahead and had some fun with this, actually. We have some people behind that are doing some support for us, so they get a patch. And this is how everybody's patch starts out on some shirts we're having made. I'm going to add this to one shoulder and this to another shoulder. Now, malarials, anti-diarrheas, and then we'll get into the medical kit here in a second. Remember, I did say that myself and the other guy are a medic. This is just our backup kit that I'm going to carry. You'll notice zip ties, duct tape. That is treatment spray for clothing, epinephrine, and that will give you some some coverage for the clothing, so we got to do that. Backup batteries. This is our backup battery and power supply station area. We have one of every kind of battery. We have a night vision camera, like a game camera, that we have actually out in our backyard to just watch elk and deer come by. We're going to bring it. We have a couple of solar charging units because for our backpack on Kilimanjaro, we do want to be able to have music while we're doing the Kili Shuffle. I have turn-by-turn navigation through Tracks for Africa. I have an SD card in my Garmin, so even on the dirtiest of dirt roads and back areas, and I know where all the washed-out bridges are as of 2 months ago. I just updated this with Tracks for Africa, the number 4. I have an SD card in here that's going to give me that. Now, I've gone into Garmin Basecamp, and I've used the SD card to actually see down to the smallest detail of where the grocery stores are, every gas station, every water supply, and I've made waypoints for us to have. I've also marked the American consulates. I've also marked the embassy. I've also marked every police station. I've also marked every emergency airstrip. Better to have and not need, and so that's what we've spent some time doing. Now, 3 weeks ago, we packed everything and made a list of what was missing. Last week, we packed again, so you really want to try to go through the process of packing 2 to 3 weeks in advance, see what's missing, and then reserve yourself the time to do your power, the batteries, everything like that. To where, you know, I've got a week and a half now, actually, truly, before we go, and this will all be loaded tonight. A little pocket, extra battery charger for the phone, anything with a USB device, this can supply power for. That's a small device, so my wife has one and I have one. I've got the charging cord needed for it and a lightning cord for my phone, and then I have backup cables for every other style that I might need for charging GoPros, etc., etc. You're going to be in a car, and the cars we're renting have an inverter, but we're going to bring an inverter because I have a fully rigged out overland vehicle anyway, so this is small. I'm going to bring this for charging small things, and I'm going to give myself multiple plugs. I've got converters for Tanzania, and I've got a 12-volt splitter and 12-volt plugs as well. So just kind of, you know, get a glance here of what's happening. This is Power Central. Once we get the truck rigged, we'll have an inverter on top of the inverter they ever have. Whatever 12 volts left, we will go ahead and plug into and split this. And we're going to bring some extra wire so that if we have to kind of jump another line to their second battery, we can do that because there are 2 batteries on this truck, and we don't want to overload the alternator or the gear. But between the two trucks we have, and we'll get there and we'll see what we have, we know we're prepared. Optics, we did go ahead because we're going to do some heavy-duty night photography while we're out there. I want to see what's out there looking back at us while we're doing some of that setup big on optics. So these are actually a very good small set of optics that'll work just fine. Headlamps, I like the kind that actually give you the ability to not blind each other and have enough light. And then we found this magnetized at 4wheelparts.com. They have this little magnetic LED light that gives you a laser pointer. I wonder if lions like chasing lasers like cats do. Maybe we shouldn't try that. But it's got like kind of an area light and a flashlight on the end and a laser pointer. Little lantern for inside the tent and a tactical flashlight for my wife and myself. Altimeter with its charging cord and watch, etc., etc. And this even has GPS built into it. It's a little bit of a perk there too. But I have the ability to send a customized message. This is what we've programmed to say we've reached the top of the mountain. I can push this button and anybody that has access to my map can see where we are for the day on an every hour basis. And then if I just want to check in with the family, at night, every night to say we made it to campsite, I can do that. Now, if I need help, I'm going to program this to go to our the guide service that's renting all the equipment to us. I'm going to make this to where it notifies him by email and by text. I can push this button and he'll get that information. And if the stuff has hit the fan, this is the SOS button that I push, and that will send search and rescue or local authorities to us if we are in kind of emergency situation. But I'll tell you what, peace of mind for the people that are worried about you while you're gone. This is actually kind of cool. This is more than I ever do as well with a GPS, but this is the peace of mind of the other people that are with me that are not as familiar with my mountaineering and orienteering and search and rescue experience. So that gives peace of mind to the people with me, and that's important to me, so we have that. GoPros, we actually are going to have 4 GoPros. We'll rig a couple up on the top of the truck, maybe one inside the cab, I don't know. But we'll have, actually I think we'll have 6 GoPros when I think about the 2 that we're borrowing from a friend. And like I said, backup cords, an extra lightning, an extra mini HDMI, and an extra micro I have up here, and then just a bunch of adhesive mounts there. So there's everything there. Now all of this is going to go on the airplane with me because that's a bunch of stuff I don't want to get lost, and that's going onto this backpack by Granite Gear. That actually this bag zips on top of that roller bag. Now basically we're able to with this Granite Gear bag that we're coming up on here, I've got the ability to put the entire lower section will be for our climb. The upper section will be for medical and quick grab stuff. So I'll be able to keep the lower section completely separated from the first half of our trip down low with our backpack, gear, hiking boots, etc., all in the lower half, and then just my medical and everything on top. For KLM and Delta, you're allowed to have 2 checked bags, 1 roller bag, and 1 backpack. That's basically simple translation, but we're only going to take 1 checked bag. 3 and 3 long sleeve, short sleeve safari shirts, a safari jacket. Now I'm going to do a Cabela's that just has pockets everywhere, and arguably it's too dark. The CC Flies might love that color, and I might be regretting it. But I'll also have my Summit jacket for Kilimanjaro, so I'll be fine for rain gear that way. So we're just going to see how it goes. So this bag has matches and plastic bags, garbage bags, things like that, and just kind of all together. This has more of the emergency signal mirror, sunscreen lotion, mosquito repellent, just keeping it all together now, and once we get there, Leatherman, those types of things are all in there. 3 pairs of shorts, 3 pairs of pants, money bag, rope, wipes, bacterial wipes, travel towel, bathing suit, some stuff to sleep in, and about 3 or 4 pairs of socks, 4 or 5 pairs of socks actually, and a safari hat that collapses, and there's that. Medical, I'm not going to go into my medic bag. I have all kinds of guidebooks, my Swahili phrase book, and just some basics on language, and then my maps. I have paper maps for each truck, and I've got this waterproof. This is what I had as a nav pouch for any backcountry maps when I was in search and rescue. Sorry about that. So when you have a bag like this that comes together, and the ability to zip or unzip in both directions, the way that a thief defeats this is that he pushes a key or a knife through this side and gets completely into your bag and does whatever he wants to. And then this side of the zipper system is completely open. But then all I have to do is kind of roughly force this bag together. And while this is kind of feeding its way across some really rough teeth, this zipper's coming along behind it and beautifully zipping it all back together. And you never know that somebody's been in your bag unless something's missing. And the time to know is when you get off the plane, when there's still a chance of knowing, hey, this happened on the flight, file your report there, rather than, well, it could happen on the taxi or on the way to the hotel and you just don't have a good case. So these locks, which are TSA locks, meaning TSA can get into them and you get a LED indicator or it shows up red if somebody has gotten in. These are valuable to you if you get them through the zipper and then through something fixed on your bag. So I'm going to go through this strap and through the zipper, so the zippers can't travel any further than here or here, and there's no way somebody's going to get into that and cover their tracks. They might still break in, don't get me wrong, because, you know, once again, you can push a knife through here and defeat a zipper easily enough, just get it going and then rip it apart. If you have a dual zipper, you can zip right behind it and put it back together. This at least gives us something that TSA can get into and gives us the peace of mind of knowing, hey, did somebody get into it or not? And then we immediately know to get in and look and see if something's missing. So anyway, Amazon, there are 3 entry points on this that can be violated, 1, 2, and 1 up here. So we have 3 locks per bag. Sounds a little goofy, but we really need to make sure we get all our gear there and we don't want to lose anything.
Sorted out. But we've done some research on lenses and what to have and what not to have, and cameras, and what's too much, and what's going to be practical for when you're in the rover or in the safari truck, wherever you're going, or even on a hiking safari. So I'll show you basically what we've done, just try to keep it simple. We actually have 2 camera bodies. Now, on every single camera body, we've gone ahead and rigged them with these cotton carrier wrist straps, just so that we have, or knuckle straps, so that we have that kind of security without a shoulder strap on. We also have the cotton carrier mounts. Now these do 2 different things. The circular go into a shoulder strap for quick release, to be able to hold on a shoulder the camera basically right here, and when I want to take it off I can, and it's got a safety lanyard on it, and how they fit down into a shoulder bag strap. And basically we're going to go there with these on the camera bag. When we're there, they'll go into our backpacks. But again, these just slide in, and so when this is on your body, your camera stays nice and locked in there, and there's these safety lanyards that attach. So again, not to forget to show you that, but the cotton carrier makes these nice shoulder harnesses that go on a backpack, and we actually have 1 for each of us, and we're set and good and ready to go. So, and then I also, on every single camera, have the quick release or the quick slide into the tripod. So in all cases, I can leave both on and not have conflict. Obviously tighten this down. So in every single instance, what we have the ability to do is attach to the camera on the fly, to the tripod. Even on our large Tamron lens, which you mount the lens to the tripod, we have it set up with a similar slide that will be able to allow us to grab out of the bag, keeping the bag basically on the console of the truck between us, be able to grab out and be able to quickly mount any camera configuration onto the tripod. The head does come off, and the head will allow us to mount to this other mount that we have, which is going to be a window mount. So this will slide onto the window of the passenger door or my door, and it's got the 3/8 thread on it, which is the same as the 3/8 head down here, not the 1/4" thread that you typically have at your bottom of your camera or on your mount. But the 3/8 is what is at the attachment point here. So this entire piece on the top here, I can take off and mount to this. So when we're driving and the tripod's not going to be practical, we're not allowed to get out of the truck, we'll have this for stability as much as we can. Remember, if you're inside the cab of your truck, the big long lens is going to be very cumbersome to pull out and deal with. And switching lenses on one camera body. Also, that's why we're going to have one rigged for kind of up close, one rigged for intermediate here. We've got a 75-300, and so we'll have one camera kind of rigged for medium, the other rigged for either far out or close, and just be able to swap between the two. For the majority of the time, we'll be shooting with the battery pack on the camera, but for packing it into the pack, it needs to be a little bit lower profile. So we keep this separate. We have our batteries ready to go in here. And then instead of sliding in the two Canon style batteries, we actually have also the AA tray with all kinds of backup batteries for if we need it, we have it. My wife's optics, earlier I showed you my binoculars. She has a really good pair of mini binoculars as well that are enough to get us to be able to see if we want to get the big lens out and reach out and see if it's what we're seeing is what we think we're seeing. But again, you can bring big binoculars. We're just trying to get it all in one bag, and I think that's kind of the key component to how we did it. All of our battery chargers. I showed you earlier. We have the adapters for that. Our filter kits, ultraviolet, UV, and different filters. Now, in here, I have backup batteries. So I've got the ability at any given time to have both cameras shooting and the full complement of batteries that would be needed to keep it running again, charging. Now we keep everything neatly organized here. Backup SD cards, pens, pencils. We're going to be downloading every single night. We'll be downloading our pictures so that we have a completely empty set of SD cards every single morning. And that's important to us to not have to realize we're out of room by accident and missing something worth seeing. This is all the cleaning equipment. I know this is hard to see, but the Q-tips, the puffers, the brushes, the lens wipes, everything is in here. This is a great bag that I like because it doesn't necessarily look like a camera bag. It will look like my wife just has a regular backpack on when she's on the airplane, and that's, to me, a little bit more low profile, and that's important. This backpack actually does have the room for the laptop as well. So, I mean, that's basically our kit. Think extra batteries, think charger cords, think connection cables. I mean, that's all here up. And again, I know you're going to think of things I missed, and I know you may be better at this than I am, but I hope this was helpful if you're excited and getting ready to do this kind of trip. So, cool. Thanks a lot.